Test for Grade 7. B. The first 45-minute tests. Test 1. Part 1. Listen to the passage, then decide if the statements are true or false. Anna soon gets used to the busy traffic. She can cross the road and she isn't scared. Her mother bought her a new bike and she goes out more often. In the morning, she goes to school by bike. In the evening, she cycles round the lake near her home. Sometimes she visits her friends. She remembers the rules about the road safety for a cyclist. When she cycles, she always keeps both hands on the handlebars and gives a signal before turning left or right. Now, Anna is confident when she goes out. Sometimes she helps younger children or old people to cross the roads. She feels happy to live in this city. Part 2. Listen and write the missing words.
What's the matter with you, my son?
I had an accident. When I was riding home, a dog rushed into my bike.
Did you hurt yourself?
Yes, Mum. I fell off my bike and my leg hurt.
Oh my God! Did you bleed?
No, Mum.
What about the dog?
He was lucky to escape with no injuries.
Is your bike damaged?
Yes, Mum. The front wheel is bent. I took it to a mending shop and the man helped me to mend it already. I paid, but he refused.
He is really kind. Come in and I'll have a look at your leg.
Test 2. Part 1. Listen to the passage and decide whether the statement is true or false. Transport in London is expensive. The fare depends on the length of journey. You cannot buy or book tickets in advance. Children under 16 pay half, and those under 5 travel free. You usually buy bus tickets from the conductor, but on some buses, you pay the driver. Most London buses are double-deckers. On the Underground Railway or Tube, you buy your ticket from the machine or ticket office and give it up at the end of the journey. Not all trains from one platform go to the same place, so watch the signs. The last train leaves at 1:15 p.m. Part 2. Listen again and fill in the missing words. Test 3. Part 1. Listen to the passage, then decide if the statements are true or false. Mid-Autumn Festival is very popular in many Asian countries, including Vietnam. It is held in autumn. It is a seasonal festival. Traditionally, it was held to celebrate the summer harvest's end. Nowadays, it is the time for families to light the lanterns and enjoy a special type of food. The food is called moon cake, because it is round like the moon. In Vietnam, most families buy moon cakes from shops, while some other families make the cakes for themselves. People often eat moon cakes with fruits or tea. During the festival, people can also watch the lion dances by the performers on the streets. Children like the Mid-Autumn Festival very much because their parents usually buy them beautiful lanterns. Part 2. Listen and fill in the gaps with the missing words.
Someone really should do something about the traffic. It's terrible. It's getting worse every day. There are so many cars on the roads these days. It's a nightmare driving in the city, bumper to bumper, even at midnight. I don't know where all this traffic comes from. You turn on the radio and traffic report is all about congestion here, snarl-ups and gridlocks there. The answer must be getting better public transport. Let people take the train or bus. People need to leave their cars at home. The roads are too dangerous. And then there's the pollution. It's disgusting outside sometimes. You feel like you're breathing pure flames. We need to get rid of these traffic jams so we can move and breathe more easily.
Test 4. Part 1. Listen to the passage and choose the best answer, A, B, C, or D. Yesterday, on the way home from school, I saw an accident. A boy was run over by a taxi when he was riding his bicycle. The boy's leg was broken and it was bleeding badly. Someone there tried to stop the bleeding. They put pressure on it and held it tight. A man used his mobile phone to call the emergency service. Some minutes later, an ambulance arrived and sent the boy to the hospital. 2 policemen came to the scene immediately. Some people told the police that the taxi driver was driving at a very high speed when the accident happened. Some others began talking about the traffic accidents these days and blamed the increasing number of accidents on the roads for careless driving and drunk drivers. Part 2. Listen to the dialogue and fill in the gap with suitable sentences.
Hi, Dad.
Hello, Rosie. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. We're in Bolivia now.
Did you have a good time in Peru?
Yes, we did.
We got your postcard last week. How long did you spend there?
We were there for about 3 weeks.
Where did you visit?
Oh, we visited lots of places.
How was your trip?
Wonderful. We didn't have any problems. But guess what? I lost my wallet.
Oh no! How did that happen?
I left it on the beach.
Did you find it again?
No, I didn't. We went back to look for it, but we didn't find it. But it was okay. My passport and tickets and money were all at the hotel.
Test 5. Part 1. Listen to the passage and fill in the missing words. Last summer holiday, my family went to the UK and we went to a music festival on the Isle of Wight. It is one of the most famous music festivals in our country, which takes place every June. When we got there, I was impressed by the huge number of people. You know, about 60,000 people went to the event. We didn't stay at a hotel, but put up a tent in the campsite. It was lots of fun. We listened to a lot of songs by many bands such as The Killers and the Stone Roses. Guess what? We met John Bon Jovi. He's my dad's favorite singer. He and his band stirred up the crowd in nearly 3 hours with the hit songs. We also went to the Bohemian Woods, a beautiful woodland down by the river. There we enjoyed a mix of good music from around the world and escaped the busy and noisy festival for a while. Part 2. Listen to the passage and choose the correct answers.
Dalat Flower Festival is one of the most festivals in the south of Vietnam. It takes place every year, but its date is not fixed. It's often held at the end of December. The first festival was in December 2005, and it attracted about 80,000 visitors. During the festival, people go to Dalat to see flower exhibitions. There are hundreds of kinds of flowers. Most of them come from Vietnam, but there are some kinds from other countries as well. They make the streets colorful and beautiful. People also have a chance to watch lively street parades and visit the flower market. The festival attracts local people and visitors from all over the world.
C. The second 45-minute tests. Test 1. Part 1. Listen to the passage and choose the correct answer. Lan's family wants to reduce their energy consumption. Lan and her brother will go to school by bicycle, while her mother will take the bus to work. Tomorrow, her mother will buy some low-energy light bulbs to use in all rooms. Besides, at 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, Dad will be putting solar panels on the roof of their house. Next week, all water in Lan's house will be heated by solar energy. Lan also tells her brother to turn off the lights when he gets out of the room. Lan and her family feel happy that they have small carbon footprints because they are using less energy that produces carbon dioxide. Part 2. Listen and fill in the missing words to complete the sentences.
1. Hydropower is generated from water.
2. People use low-energy light bulbs to reduce electricity bills.
3. When we burn fossil fuels, carbon dioxide is produced.
4. Solar panels are used to get energy from the sun.
5. We have a big carbon footprint if we use energy that produces a lot of carbon dioxide.
Test 2. Part 1. Listen to the passage and then tick the correct answers, true or false. Many people still believe that natural resources will never be used up. Actually, the world's energy resources are limited. Nobody knows exactly how much fuel is left. We should use them economically and try to find out alternative sources of power. According to Professor Marvin Burnham of the New England Institute of Technology, we have to start saving coal, oil, and gas before it is too late, and solar panel is the only alternative. Part 2. Listen and then fill in the words you hear. 1. Governments will make more regulations to reduce industrial pollution.
2. People won't burn fossil fuels for energy in the future.
3. Solar panels will be installed on the roof of our houses next week.
4. A new school will be built for poor children next month.
5. Biogas will be used for cooking and heating at this time next month. Test 3. Part 1. Listen to the passage and then choose the correct answer. Traveling in the future will be much easier and safer. People may travel in a driverless car. Even old and disabled people will be able to use it because the car can drive itself. However, a driverless car will be expensive. People can choose to go on foot on moving pavements. A Swiss company has invented a system of high-speed moving pavements. People will go through the streets at up to 15 kilometers per hour just by standing on the pavements. This will reduce traveling time of pedestrians and traffic jams effectively. Therefore, more people will leave their vehicles at home. Part 2. Listen and fill in the missing words. Mum, people who live in the city are all wealthy, aren't they?
No, there are some rich people, but there are also people who live in poverty.
Where do they live, Mum?
Some people are homeless and some have to live in slums.
How are those places?
They're overcrowded and unsafe.
Do the people living there have good health care?
No, they don't. Therefore, children who live there often have more diseases.
Oh, their lives are so difficult. Test 4. Part 1. Listen to a man talking about recycling. Decide if the statements below are true or false. When I was young, we never used the word recycling. It wasn't important. People would think you were crazy for recycling things. Today, things are different. We now know we have a problem. We use too much stuff and throw everything away. Lots of the stuff we throw away is very useful. It can be used again or recycled. This is good for the environment because we use fewer natural resources. I love recycling. It makes me feel as though I'm helping the earth. I even buy things like used furniture and clothes. This also recycles. Some of the countries I've lived in are experts at recycling. There are giant bottle banks at the end of the street and places to leave newspapers, clothes, batteries, and metal. Part 2. Listen again and fill in the gaps with the missing words. Test 5. Part 1. Listen to the passage, then tick the correct answers, true or false. Energy is very important in modern life. People use energy to run machines, heat and cool their homes, cook, give light, transport people and products from place to place. Most energy nowadays comes from fossil fuels such as petroleum, coal, and natural gas. However, burning fossil fuels causes pollution. In addition, if we don't find new kinds of energy, we will use up all the fossil fuels in the 21st century. Scientists are working to find other kinds of energy for the future. What might these sources of energy be? Part 2. Listen to the passage again and fill in the gaps with the missing words. D. The second semester examinations. Test 1. Part 1. Read the passage, then write true or false for the following sentences. London is Britain's biggest city. It is a very old city and dates back to the Romans. It is a city of historic buildings and churches, and it has many beautiful parks. It also has some of the best museums in the world. London is very crowded in summer. It is a popular city with foreign tourists and has more than 8 million visitors a year. The city is famous for its shopping and department stores. London has an excellent underground railway system, so it is easy for tourists to get around. In London, there are plenty of good restaurants where you can get excellent British food. The city also has lots of good Indian, Chinese, Japanese, French, Italian, and Greek restaurants. Part 2. Listen again and fill in the missing words. Test 2. Part 1. Listen to the passage, then choose the correct answer.
My first visit to the cinema was a very unhappy one. I was taken there by some friends when I was only 7 years old. At first, there were bright lights and music, and I felt quite happy. When the lights went out, I felt afraid. Then I saw a train on the screen. The train was coming towards me. I shouted out in fear and got down under my seat. When my friends saw me, they started to laugh. I felt ashamed and sat back in my seat. I was very glad when the film ended.
Part 2. Listen to the dialogue and fill in the missing words. Do you know that they have produced electric cars, Lee?
Yes, it doesn't use fuel and it's good for the environment.
I believe they will soon have solar-powered cars.
Not only cars, but other means of transport will be environmentally friendly in the future.
There will be more vehicles and there will be more traffic jams.
Then there will be flying trains and cars. They won't cause traffic jams on the street.
But there will be traffic jams in the sky.
I think we will have sky system to avoid traffic jams.
I would also like a jetpack. I can fly anywhere when I wear it on my back.
Oh, I hope to have it soon.
Test 3. Part 1. Listen to the passage and circle A, B, or C to complete the sentences. Every summer, Leon and her family go to the countryside to visit her grandmother. Unlike Hanoi, the countryside is very spacious and peaceful. Because Hanoi is densely populated, it is always full of noise and traffic jams. The countryside has fewer vehicles than Hanoi, so there is less pollution. In Hanoi, some families still live in poverty. some people don't have money to buy food or don't have accommodation, so they commit crimes. Therefore, there are more crimes in Hanoi than in the countryside. Lian likes living in the countryside more than in Hanoi. Part 2. Listen and fill in the missing words to complete the dialogue. Do you know how many people there are in the world?
More than 8 billion. That's too many, right? But the density is not the same in different places.
There are many overcrowded cities. That's not good.
Yes, because in those places there's not enough space to live.
So people have to live in very small houses or even in the slums.
There's not enough food and clean water as well.
People often live in poverty in those areas. When they need money, they may commit a crime.
Oh, overpopulation brings a lot of trouble, doesn't it?
Yes, we are lucky that our city doesn't have such problems.
No, our city has those kinds of problems, but it has fewer problems than in overcrowded cities.
Test 4. Part 1. Listen to the following passage, then decide if the statements are true or false.
The population is increasing very fast in most countries of the world, especially in big cities. Overpopulation causes many problems. In overcrowded land, it is difficult to provide enough food for everyone. In families with more than 4 children, the children often suffer malnutrition. Also, the children may not have enough education. Because children have poor education, they may not have jobs when they grow up. There is also more pollution where there are too many people living in a city because there are too many cars and motorbikes. But the biggest problem is that there is a shortage of accommodation. Cities are trying to find ways to solve those problems, but of course it is uneasy to do.
Part 2. Listen and fill in the missing words to complete the sentences.
1. Last week, our class decided to go for a picnic to Bavi National Park. 2. The sun was shining brightly and the weather was warm. The streets were crowded with traffic. 3. Soon after we left our school, there was an accident. A car crashed into a truck, so there was a traffic jam and we had to wait for 2 hours on the bus. 4. When we arrived at Bavi National Park, all of us were very hungry, so we had lunch. 5. After lunch, we went for a walk and 1 hour later we began to go swimming. Unfortunately, it began to rain heavily, so everybody got wet when we came back to the bus. It was a terrible day.
Test 5. Part 1. Listen carefully and then decide which statements are true or false. Learning English at the Winterbourne School. Hello, my name is Martin Burridge, and I am the director of the Winterbourne School. Who are we?
The Winterbourne School of English is a small school with 8 teachers, 6 from England, 1 from the USA, and one from Australia. We have about 80 students from all over the world.
Where are we?
Winterbourne is in the south west of England, about 20 minutes from Bristol and only 2 hours from London.
What do we offer?
Course 1, 30 hours, 1 week of intensive business English, 6 hours every day, the ideal course for busy business people. Course 2, 40 hours, 2 weeks of general English, 4 hours a day, a good course for young adults who don't have a lot of time. Course 3, 80 hours, long-term learners, 1 month of general English, 4 hours a day. This course is good for people who can stay in England for a longer time.
Timetable.
Classes are from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m., Monday to Friday. Students on Course 1 also have classes from 2 p.m. until 4 p.m. The Winterbourne School of English. We want the best for you.
Part 2. Listen and fill in the missing words.
What are non-renewable sources of energy, Dad?
Well, those sources of energy are limited and can't be replaced after use.
Oh, so they will run out?
Yes, that's why we have to save the energy.
How can we do that, Dad?
We can travel by public transport or bicycles.
I will ride a bike to school tomorrow. What else, Dad?
You should turn off the TV or computer when you don't use them.
Sure, Dad.
And we will use renewable energy sources like solar energy.
Is it a better source of energy?
Yes, it is clean and plentiful. Advanced. Test 1. Part 1. Listen to a talk about carnival. Then complete the sentences.
For 1 week every February, people go to Venice to see the Venice Carnival. At the carnival, everyone wears a mask. This modern carnival began in the 1980s, but masks are not new to Venice. 200 years ago, Venetians, the people who lived in Venice, wore masks all the time. It was the custom. Many Venetians were rich and powerful. Some of them started to wear masks because they didn't want others to know their business. But then things changed in Venice. People became dishonest and they used the masks to help them commit crimes. So new laws arose. People could only wear masks at certain hours of the day. By the end of the 18th century, the Venetian Republic ended, and so did the custom of wearing masks.
Part 2. Listen to two friends, Fuad and Jing, talking about the Festival of the Winds. Then choose the correct answers.
Hi, Jing. Did you want to go to the Festival of the Winds next weekend?
The Festival of the Winds? What is that exactly?
It's a kite festival. Look at the poster. It's a festival for people who love kites. It's only once a year and lasts for 1 day. I don't want to miss it.
I'm not sure. I haven't got a kite.
You don't need one. Kite flyers from all over Australia and all over the world come to show their kites and fly them. It's free too.
So we don't pay? That sounds good. When is it?
Next Sunday, Sunday the 9th.
I like the kites in the poster. Lots of different shapes and sizes.
They're amazing. There are even kites of huge cartoon characters, and there are even flying trains and flying buildings.
So is the festival just about kites?
No, it isn't. There is an entertainment program too, with an art exhibition and different workshops too.
Is there a dance workshop?
Yes, there is.
Fantastic! I love dancing, Fuad.
I don't. I'm a really bad dancer. But there is a kite making workshop and I really want to go that. I want to make my own kite and then fly it on the beach. There are also stalls with food and drink from around the world.
Delicious.
Do you want to come with me to the food stalls?
Yes, of course I do. You know I love food.
How do we get to the Bondi Beach? I don't want to go by car. It's difficult to park close to the beach.
That's true. We can take a train to Bondi Junction and then catch a bus.
Do you want to check the website and find out? The festival starts at 11 a.m. We don't want to be late.
Good idea. Test 2. Part 1. Listen to the speech and tick the correct answers, true or false. My name is Professor Roberts, and tonight I'm going to tell you how to save energy in your homes. Most of us use too much energy. You can reduce this amount by using low-energy light bulbs, using solar energy, turning off unnecessary lights, preparing food before turning on the cooker. If you follow these simple rules, you will not only save energy, but also keep the environment cleaner. Part 2. Listen to the introduction to the talk radio program, Worldview. Complete the introduction by writing the words that you hear.
Welcome to Worldview. I am Desiree Savage. There are more people on the earth today than ever before. This means there is also more food available, allowing people to survive on the one hand, but using more of the world's resources on the other. Because the world's population continues to rise, some scientists believe that slowing population growth is necessary.
Test 3. Part 1. Listen and complete the texts with the missing information. It's almost impossible to get across the city in less than an hour and a half during rush hour. There are too many cars and vehicles on the roads. There are only 2 freeways, and they just can't handle the traffic. The only thing that moves quickly in this city is the subway. That's why I took an apartment right next to the subway system. In the future, everyone will have to live in giant high-rise buildings if they want to live in cities. These new buildings might be 100 stories tall or more. If cities keep getting bigger, the only way they can expand is upward. I can't stand crowded cities myself. That's why I moved to a small town in the country. Part 2. Listen again and choose the correct answers. Test 4. Part 1. People are describing holidays and special events. Which day are they talking about? Listen and write the correct letter.
1. This holiday is in December, just before the end of the year. It's the time when families get together and give each other presents. In my house, we always put a big tree in the living room and sing special holiday songs.
2. I still like to dress up in a scary costume and go around my neighborhood getting candy and treats. My costumes are really good last year. I was Count Dracula, and I almost scared myself.
3. My mom is the most important person in my life, so I love to buy her flowers and presents on her special day. Sometimes I also take her out to a concert because she really loves music.
4. This is definitely my favorite holiday. It's the last night of the year. I always go to a party at one of my friends' houses, and we stay up all night listening to music and dancing.
5. This is the day when people are supposed to spend time with their girlfriend or boyfriend and buy each other candy and say they love each other so much. Ugh, I hate it. I guess I'm not a very romantic person.
Part 2. Listen to a film review and answer the questions. Robot Review by Tom Hardy. Robot is a thrilling, action-packed science fiction film. The film is based on a novel which was written by Isaac Asimov in 1950. The film is directed by Alex Proyas, and the hero, Del Spooner, is played by Will Smith. Spooner is a Chicago detective who doesn't like robots in a world where every family owns one. When he has to investigate a murder that he thinks was done by a robot, he faces the shocking truth. The acting is amazing, the special effects are brilliant, and there are some fantastic action scenes. Robot is an exciting film that is definitely worth seeing. You certainly won't be bored. Part 1. Listen to the passage, then decide if the statements are true or false.
Mickey Mouse was not Walt Disney's first successful cartoon creation, but it is certainly his most famous one. It was on a cross-country trip from New York to California in 1927 that Disney first drew the mouse with big ears, and no one is quite sure why he dressed the mouse in the shorts with 2 buttons and gave him the yellow shoes. By the 1930s, Mickey's image had circled the globe, and Walt Disney was a superstar at the height of his career.
Part 2. Listen to a woman and a man talking about their traveling experiences. Complete the summaries.
1. This happened on a car journey we did one spring to the village where my mother-in-law lives. We decided to drive over the mountains, but it started to snow, and soon there was ice and snow everywhere. We had to drive very slowly, and there were a lot of cars at the end of the road. Fortunately, my husband is a very good driver, so we got there in the end.
2. I had a very bad experience. One night when I was riding home on my bike, I had my lights on and everything, but that didn't seem to make any difference. I came to a roundabout where I wanted to go straight on, but suddenly the lorry appeared. It crossed over right in front of me. It was so close that it touched my foot. I don't know how I didn't fall off my bike.